Monkey D. Luffy has just officially became a Yonko and has been given a new bounty after defeating Kaido. As of chapter 1053, Luffy's post-Wano bounty is a whopping 3 billion berries!
That's it?
Okay. I know most of the community was expecting the bounty to be over 5 billion because, let's be honest, Luffy deserves that number. Especially considering that Luffy being Joy Boy and having the sun god Nika fruit, which the government chased for over 800 years, you know, all of that should have just given him a greater value. But I'm here to tell you, Oda is actually a genius, and following from chapter 1052, the world government did the perfect political move in the situation they were in. Yes, there is a reason the 5 elders and Im-sama doesn't want Luffy to be hyped up and chose to give him the same bounty as Law and Kid. Rayleigh and Shanks are probably the only few that can see behind the lines, because the government finally even recognized the legendary Buggy D clown as an emperor of the sea, proving they know what they are doing.
Don't care, still don't care.
Though these titles and bounties reflects both the threat and power of an individual towards the world government, overall it's just a means to control the perception of these so-called criminals. The Yonko were titles given to 4 pirates who had a ridiculous amount of control and influence over many other pirate crews, along with occupying self-governing islands. Both Luffy and Buggy now fits this description, and a bounty of a person isn't necessarily based on power, but also includes any potential danger a person could have towards the government. A great example is Nico Robin, who as a child had a bounty of 79 million just due to her affiliation to Ohara and having the knowledge of reading the poneglyphs. But there is a reason why they didn't give her a number even higher.
No way!
Luffy started his bounty journey with a simple, and I would even say humble, 30 million berries, which mind you, that's impressive for any rookie. After defeating Crocodile, it went up to 100 million. Once he declared war against the world government and defeated Rob Lucci, it shot up to 300 million. After the Great Summit War, his bounty skyrocketed to 400 million. But the biggest jump was in the New World, Luffy being the captain of the Straw Hats, along with unwillingly named the leader of a grand fleet consisting from pirates with a total bounty of 4,183,100 berries, increased Luffy's overall infamy. On top of this, after learning of his declaration of war and invasion to Big Mom's island, the government recognized Luffy to be near on par with the likes of the Yonkos, effectively assigning Luffy with the bounty of 1.5 billion berry. Though he didn't really defeat Big Mom at this point, the press had exaggerated his feats and labeled him the 5th Emperor of the Sea. However, Luffy's new bounty of 3 billion berries is an overall reflection of his victory in Wano against the Emperors of the Sea, being both Big Mom and Kaido. Though Luffy didn't take down Big Mom, he could easily be seen as the leader of the alliance that did. Luffy held the banner for victory, giving morale to the other captains, Law and Kid, who believed Luffy will do his job of taking out the captain of the Beast Pirates, Kaido. And what do we know? He did it. However, to truly understand Luffy's accomplishments in Wano, we have to start from the beginning of the raid, as the report, which resulted in a 3 billion berry bounty, should have been given based on Luffy's holistic feats. The whole raid was observed by the Marys and the CP0 agents, who were overseeing more or less everything that was happening. So right off the bat, as Luffy entered Onigashima, he went on a rampage, destroying countless members of the Beast Pirate crew. After expending a bit of his energy to the fodders, Luffy fought his way inside of Kaido's castle, immediately getting into a clash with Ulti. She's one of the 6 strongest Tobi Roppo of Kaido's crew with a bounty of 400 million berry. Ulti also is the user of an ancient Zoan fruit, Ryu no Mi, model Pachycephalus. What the frick is this shit?
Oh my god, I could say something, but I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it.
Within this brawl, Luffy dropped her brother Page 1, who is another Tobiropo, and was about to do the same with her until this fight was interrupted by Kaido's very own child, Yamato. And not too long after, Luffy and Yamato went on to have their very own destructive powerful clash, where both of them managed to hold their own. Yamato is not only a Oni, having Kaido's blood running through her veins, but also is considered to be extremely strong, as she later would take on her own father Kaido, going head to head with him. Not long after, Luffy freed Yamato from her shackles using his improved version of Haki Ryo, where he even later gave her commands to look after Momonosuke, displaying his leadership position and control. Again, bounties are not only reflection of strength, but also influence, which Luffy depicted throughout the war. Right after, Luffy confronted Big Mom, declaring his goal to bring down Kaido and herself along with their entire crew. A declaration like this showcases the resolve a person has, and to the world government, it's something to be feared. What made it more dangerous is that Luffy proceeded to accomplish this very goal in an all-out clash. Alongside Zoro, Law, Kid, and Killer, Luffy fought Kaido and Big Mom. Kaido, who has a bounty of 4,611,100,000 berry, and Big Mom a bounty of 4,338,000,000 berries. During this battle, Luffy not only showcased his improvement from his last clash with Kaido, but also gave Kaido a chilling feeling to think back to the strongest piracy ever encountered. This was amongst Shanks, Whitebeard, Rocks, and even Odin. Afterwards, Luffy went head to head with Kaido until the Emperor managed to temporarily knock Luffy down. Whilst unconscious, Luffy kept his death glare on, reminding Kaido of their confrontation back at Kuri. However, even in this blackout moment, Luffy was training mid-fight, refining what he learned from Hyuguro, combining it with his newfound experience from observing how Kaido fights. As Luffy snaps back in, he showcases another level up with being able to coat his own body with Conqueror's Haki. With the combination of Ryo, which is the flow of Haki without contact, Luffy could now defend and counter-attack Kaido's strike without even touching him. Most importantly, with this new skill, Luffy's confidence increased as he now had a more reliable means to hurt Kaido. At this point, Luffy told the others to leave Kaido to him alone. Luffy and Kaido butted heads for a good while, with both captains acknowledging each other's strength, finding the battle quite amusing. However, the 1v1 battle didn't last long. Luffy, just acquiring the skill of coating with conquerors, wasn't able to master it in time, which resulted in him being overpowered by Kaido, who then proceeds to throw Luffy off the flying island of Onigashima into the sea. Luffy, whilst in this state of defeat and deep into the sea, managed to hone his inner power of the voice of all things. With it, he communicated to Momonosuke that he isn't done yet. He will rise back and defeat Kaido. This not only reinforced Luffy's undying will, but also the insane influence he has on others, as when Momonosuke relayed this message to everyone in Wano, it raised the morale, turning the tides in favor of the alliance. Once again, this was all being observed. How much of an impact does Monkey D. Luffy have? Truly, the power to move others is the most dangerous power to have. Luffy was also able to save himself by using the voice of all things to call out to the Heart Pirates in their submarine to come get him. This was a major feat, as in a state of defeat, Luffy made the most of his inner abilities to come out on top. After recovering to some degree by consuming months worth of meat, Luffy reunited with a grown Momonosuke, who now had the ability to transform into a fully fledged dragon. Luffy, as though he's an experienced dragon master, pushed Momonosuke to transform into his dragon form and fly back to Onigashima. The instant they reached the rooftop and spotted Kaido, Luffy showcased a huge improvement in his use of Gear 4 as he swiftly transformed into his Snake Man. Following up with a massive blow to Kaido's face, Luffy proceeded to pummel Kaido into the ground whilst using an infused Conqueror's Haki attack. With this, Luffy solidified the morale his allies gained as the nearby Mary relayed his message to all of Onigashima. Even though Luffy just barely recovered, he was able to take Kaido on 1 vs 1, even telling Yamato and Momonosuke to leave things to him. This illustrated Luffy's resolve and self-belief. His Haki rose to the level of a Yonko, as we are then given one of the greatest clashes in the entire war, with Luffy and Kaido meeting each other's attack, with their respective conquerors effectively splitting the heavens above. This feat was seen as comparable to the clash of Gol D, Roger and Whitebeard, or even Shanks with the latter. This was the mark of Luffy's Yonko moment. Not too long after, the two started trading blows, where at one point Luffy had gotten the acknowledgement from Kaido. With this, the battle entered the final stage. Kaido, pushed to his limits, is forced to use all his different drunken modes to fend off against Luffy's Conqueror's Haki attacks. Luffy in his Gear 4 Snake Man form becomes so fast, he uses a new move called Hydra that even Kaido with his future sight observation Haki couldn't keep up with. Luffy was able to move in ways Kaido even states it's impossible for Rubber to do this. Luffy, nearing his limits to use Gear 4, planned to end it all with a final shot. However, as Kaido and Luffy charges at each other with the intentions to finish it all, a sneaky CP0 agent appears out of nowhere, locking Luffy's arms, allowing Kaido to get a clean and fatal blow on Luffy, dropping him instantly. This showcased how important Luffy's death meant to the government. But you might be asking, Anime Balls Deep, his bounty is only 3 billion. This is less than Kaido and Big Mom. This doesn't show that the government want him dead so bad. Well, the next moment we see is the true reason why Luffy's bounty was capped at 3 billion. The very thing that the world government was afraid of happened. Luffy had awakened his fruit and transformed into his Gear 5 Nika mode, where he wraps things up with Kaido pretty good. This awakening revealed the true identity of the Gamu Gamu no Mi, being the Hito Hito no Mi model Nika, which Joy Boy possessed 800 years ago. Although this is one of the government's greatest fears, a higher bounty for Luffy would have gave more weight to the rumor that Luffy is actually Nika or Joy Boy. Traditions and cultures around the world have myths and stories scattered about this legendary liberator, Sun God Nika. So if Luffy's bounty were to shoot up to 1.5 billion to let's say 5 billion, which most of the community was thinking, becoming higher than Law and Kid, whom also had a hand in defeating Kaido and Big Mom, then it would have been used as a fuel for the rumor of the liberator being back, giving the oppressed people hope and strength to fight the oppression of the world nobles. As I said at the start of the video, it's just better politically for the world government to treat this as an event of alliance of Luffy, Kid and Law beating the emperors, rather than Luffy's Gear 5 Nika mode liberating the people of Wano. But a bounty of 3 billion isn't a small feat. You need to be truly recognized for not just your reputation, but a Yonko level strength to garner this number. And Luffy does show this off with literally turning his fist into a size of a continent puller, dwarfing Onigashima itself, subsequently defeating Kaido. If you guys want a detailed version of Kaido vs Sun God Nika Luffy, then make sure you guys have that notification bell ding, because I'm gonna be dropping a dedicated video on this. However, all in all, Luffy 100% deserves this bounty when we consider all the feats and skills he gained. Mastery over Rio, flow of Haki, meaning using Haki without contact. Mastery over Gear 4, increasing its limits. Increased skill of observation Haki, one could say near Katakuri's level, able to peer into the future. Using Rio with the coated Conqueror's Haki, increased control over his inner ability to use voice of all things, his increased recovery time, increased skill in taking and dishing out overall damage, surviving death from a CP0 agent, unlocking Gear 5, which fundamentally awakened his mythical zone Devil Fruit, the Hito Hito no Mi model Sun God Nika. This is something that the world government itself feared for over 800 years, likely being a direct opposition to Imsama. Within this Gear 5 awakening, Luffy increased his heart rate, being known as the Sound of Liberation. This gave him all the zone awakening effects, from increased strength, durability, speed, and recovery. Alongside the awakening of his own, Luffy exhibited Paramecia Awakening, allowing him to share the properties of his devil fruit to his surroundings, including other people. But most importantly, Luffy's Haki shot up to the roof and even likely challenged the likes of Gol D. Roger. However, with all this in mind, the government has to hide Joy Boy's and Nika's existence so that the world does not know, and Liberator and Deity has risen amongst them to free them of their shackles of an oppressive governmental regime, making Luffy's bounty on par with Law and Kid, and then also labeling him a Yonko alongside Buggy will give the impression he's just a pirate who rose the ranks. A bounty of 5.6 billion is no doubt a good estimate of Luffy's worth to the world government, but 3 billion is a better choice for their intentions, and I'm sure we'll get to the number we all want sooner or later. Make sure you guys check these videos out if you guys want to know how Luffy can bend time, and also how Luffy's Haki shot to the roof by him being able to stretch his own inner spirit and will.